Hey everybody. I just wanted to do a little introductory video for new subscribers or people that are not Facebook friends with me and don't know my story. Um, so going back to the beginning, uh, I was diagnosed with cancer in January, actually on January the 8th at 5:20 p.m. I remember the exact moment. I had been dealing with some medical issues since October of 2014. One test turned into another test, which turned into a biopsy, which went into the holidays and doctors being out of the office and clinics being closed. And it was January the 8th at 5:20 p.m. I was inside my grandson's daycare classroom picking him up when I got the call. The nurse told me that my biopsy results were back. They had been sent out to Johns Hopkins Hospital because the local hospitals could not determine what it was. Long story short, I have a very rare form of cancer that doctors say originated in my head and neck. It's a head and neck cancer. However, it's metastasized to my lungs and they can't find the cancer at all in my head and neck area. So I'm being treated for lung cancer. I had surgery in February of 2015. They cut off a piece of my right lung. I started my chemo treatments in March. And basically, I have received chemo every 3 weeks since March of 2015. Unless I had some kind of other procedure scheduled, then I had to come off of the chemo to have the other procedure. Then I went back on the chemo um, after some healing took place. I've had one, two, three other biopsies in the amount of time that I've been diagnosed with cancer because I've had suspicious cells pop up in other places. So when I started my chemo treatment, because there's no prescribed treatment for the cancer that I have, they're basically going down a list and trying different forms of treatment that have been proven to be effective in other people's cancer. So the first medication or combination of medications that I tried, my cancer grew and it spread. The second combination of medications that I tried, it kept my cancer stable, but the side effects from the medication were too severe. My body couldn't take it. So as of September of last year, I'm on another medicine, and it's keeping my cancer stable. And although the side effects are pretty significant, for the most part, they're not so severe that I can't function. I'm not working anymore. I get disability. I walk with a cane. I've got neuropathy pretty bad in my feet. Um, my feet stay cold like frostbite when you've been out playing in the snow and the cold and the ice penetrated your shoes and socks and your feet are so cold that they feel cold to the bone. That's how my feet feel. But at the same time, they burn. They're hot. My heels stay burning to the point where sometimes I have to walk around on my tippy toes because I can't stand to let my heels touch anything. The muscles around my ankle get really weak. Sometimes it feels like my ankles won't hold me up. And so, one of the things that I've found to be effective for that particular issue is I get ace bandages and I wrap my ankles up. I tried compression socks, but they're too tight. You know, the swelling that I get in my feet doesn't do well with compression socks. It's just too tight and it hurts even more. So I use ace bandages. That way I can control the amount of pressure that I put around my ankles. And it gives me the reinforcement that my ankles need. Um, let's see, what do I deal with? Actually, I'm pretty grateful. I mean, truth of the matter is, I'm pretty grateful because the infusion medicine that I'm on now is actually a non-chemo medicine. That's pretty awesome. So I don't have some of the side effects of chemo, the metal mouth and the sores in the mouth and all that kind of stuff. But I still have some pretty significant symptoms. Let me tell you what I don't deal with anymore. I'll tell you where this gratitude comes from. I don't see things anymore. I was seeing things for a while. I was hearing things for a while. My fingernails and my toenails turned black. I had sores in my mouth all the time. I didn't have any appetite. They had me on steroids so that I could have, some appetite and some energy. I don't deal with that stuff quite as much. My issues now are decreased appetite. I do still have decreased appetite. I eat probably one meal scattered throughout the course of a day. I don't even eat it at one sitting, right? So, the doctors have me drinking Ensure twice a day in my one meal. So I can do that. I do that. I snack pretty good. I like Slim Jims and I like Twizzlers. Good news is, I developed a healthy lifestyle before I got sick. I was probably a exercise fanatic. I was doing like P90X and uh, some Insanity and some other pretty intense home workout programs. I had developed a healthy eating lifestyle. Before I got sick, I don't eat a lot of pasta, a lot of bread. Um, I love a salad. I can eat salad when I can't eat anything else. I love vegetables. I'll go in the freezer and get a pack of frozen vegetables and just cook the vegetables and eat the vegetables. So now that I can't eat much, it does my body well that my food choices are usually pretty healthy food choices. Um, so that's my nutrition. My energy is pretty low and it doesn't pose a big problem because, like I said, I don't work anymore. I haven't worked since March. I tried to go back after the surgery, but I really just couldn't make it. And when I was on the chemo, my physical activity declined pretty rapidly. So my doctors put me on disability. I get federal disability. I walked into the Social Security Administration and had been approved for federal disability before I walked out on that same day. I tell you what, God is good. So I get my treatments every 3 weeks. I get scans every 3 months. Every 3 months, I come to the treatment center and I get a CAT scan, and we look at whether or not the cancer has progressed. Matter of fact, I got my port accessed yesterday for my treatment tomorrow. I got my scans yesterday, and I'm pretty anxious because tomorrow I'll meet with the oncologist and talk about the results of my CAT scan. I've had some new symptoms pop up lately. I've had a lot of dizziness, a little bit of blurred vision. I'm kind of seeing things again, like, how you get up too fast and you see the squiggly lines, or you might see shadows in your periphery. I'm seeing some shadows and some squiggly lines again. I try not to get up in my head and think, that's that cancer. The cancer showing up in your head. Here it goes. I try to think positive. I try to keep the faith. But I wouldn't be human if I didn't tell you that sometimes it gets to me. Sometimes it gets to me, especially when I'm having symptoms in the head and neck area. And because my diagnosis is a head and neck cancer, sometimes it gets to me. But I do a pretty good job of keeping a positive attitude. I've got a whole lot of support. I've got friends that love me so well. I mean, their love for me really, like, literally carries me through the day sometimes. I've got an amazing group of friends and supporters and people that just, are inspired by watching my process and listening to my testimony and just, want to be a part of helping somebody get through to the other side. I had an old classmate who I hadn't seen in years. I mean, like a high school classmate. I ain't talking about college days. She set up a GoFundMe account, back when I had first left my job. And God, I tell you, God's been so good. Before I left my job, 2014, October, open enrollment for benefits, right? I had the bright idea that I was going to do some changes to my insurance companies, drop this one, pick up that one. And so I dropped my life insurance company um, and signed up for life insurance through my job's group life plan. I didn't sign up for, what do you call it? Oh, God bless it. I didn't sign up for disability insurance, because I was healthy. We're talking about October of 2014. I was like, in my prime. You know what I'm saying? I was healthy, I was strong, I was active, I was doing all kinds of stuff. And in November, I got sick. And then January, I got diagnosed. And then I didn't have any insurance. I had medical insurance. That's all I had. Still don't have life insurance. Because I signed up for life insurance through my job in October during open enrollment. It's supposed to kick in January 1 of the new year. Well, January 8th, I got diagnosed. And February, the home health nurse came out to do the health assessment to approve my life insurance. By that point, I had a pre-existing condition. How about that? But I ain't worried about it because God is good. I know that when that day comes, everything will be taken care of. So, because I didn't have any kind of disability insurance, thank God I worked for an agency who they had a group plan of disability insurance for all their employees. But one of the requirements was that I had to not work for 60 days. Well, I certainly didn't have 60 days worth of leave, right? So I used up my leave, and then for the remaining time of that 60 days, I just went without any income. And so a friend of mine set up a GoFundMe account, and more friends of mine contributed to that GoFundMe account. And that's how I paid my bills for those 60 days that I couldn't work, you know. And then, like I said, I applied for federal disability and I walked out of there approved same day. So, I've made it. I've had friends throw parties at their house and charge people to get into the party, and at the end of the night give me all the proceeds from the party. I've had friends invite a bunch of us to go out to a restaurant to eat, pass the basket, so to speak, and take up donations on my behalf. I mean, I haven't missed a meal. I haven't gone without any of my needs, and I've practically had all my wants. You know what I'm saying? I really have not gone without throughout this process at all. I've even, had some, what's the word I'm looking for? I've kind of lived it up a little bit. I got my first stamp on my passport earlier this month. It's still May. Um, Took my mama to the Bahamas. We had a grand time. My first cruise, my first time in the Bahamas, my first stamp on my passport. It was really nice. So that's my story up to this point. Um, I get my treatments every 3 weeks faithfully. I get my scans every 3 months faithfully. Unless something else comes up where my health is concerned that interferes with my ability to get my treatment. One of the things about my treatment is I'm on a medication that I get through my infusion that makes me a bleeder. It slows down the healing process and it makes me a bleeder. So when other issues come up, like those other biopsies that I've had to have, I have to come off my treatment to get those other procedures done. And then once I heal from the other procedure, I go back on my treatment. Outside of that, though, every 3 weeks, like clockwork, I'm back in Georgia at the center getting my treatment. I don't know what the future holds, you know. I try not to dwell on the negative. I try not to get stuck in fear, projecting what if, I try not to do that. Some days are better than others. Today was a really bad day. Today was very emotional. I cried myself into a headache. Kind of got on my pity pot a little bit, projected quite a bit. Feeling better now. Some days are better than others. Some days are worse than others. Every day's not a good day, but you know what? Every day's not a bad day either. That's my story. Moving forward, I'm gonna, what's the word? Document. What do you call a document when you video it? I'm gonna video. How about that? I'm gonna video my process. I'm gonna share my process with the world, hopefully to inspire others. Hopefully to let any of you dealing with cancer and the side effects of the treatment associated with cancer, any of you taking care of somebody that has cancer, any of you praying for somebody that has cancer, knowing somebody that has cancer, hearing about somebody that has cancer, to let you know that the diagnosis is not a death sentence. We are survivors. We are survivors not because our diagnosis or our disease goes into remission. I may never go into remission. My doctors have told me very clearly that they don't expect remission or improvement. Their goal is to keep my cancer stable and to just keep it from spreading. I'm a survivor though because I get up every day and I try every day to live the best life possible, to enjoy the life that I have left, to value the relationships that I have, to let people in my life know that they mean something to me. I get up, I get out as much as I can. When I can't get up, I try to find something that I enjoy sitting down, laying down. I try to find a program that I can enjoy, something to lift my spirit. If I can't lift my body, I'm going to lift my spirit, to the best of my ability. I am a survivor. And I really hope that any of you watching this video chronicle that I'm developing, I hope that you can draw strength, inspiration, hope, the ability to persevere, and just positive vibes. We need each other. None of us can get through this alone. I've got a great group of friends on Facebook that encourage me and support me, and I get a lot of benefit from it. And in return, they tell me that they get a lot of benefit from me being so candid, so transparent, so open and honest. And I feel like if I can help them who are on my friends list, imagine how I might be able to help people that I don't even know. And so that's why I made this YouTube channel. That's my goal for this YouTube channel. Feel free to follow me on Facebook. Feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And hopefully we can help each other and get through this together. Good night.